Hi, welcome to this minimal equipment slash bodyweight at home training template. So first of all, from the instructions page, hopefully you clicked on this link to get to this video. If you are playing with this spreadsheet and it is saying you can't edit anything, or you need to put in your email address to request permissions, that means you're looking at the read-only version. That's my version. You need to save your own version so you can use it. So first of all, go File, make a copy, save it in your own drive. If you're on Apple products, you need Google Drive and Google Sheets to make this work, and then you'll be able to do whatever you like with it. If you get onto the bottom where these tabs are, go to the next tab, which is template, and you will see the training program. This is 6 microcycles, if you go left to right, of training, and then the 7th is a deload. 3 days of training per microcycle. So this doesn't mean 3 days of training per week. I've intentionally left it as just microcycles. You can go through these 3 days of training as often as you like. So you can do 3 days a week, or you could go through this twice a week to make it 6 days of training per week, or you can go somewhere in between and do 4 or 5 days of training a week, whatever works for you. Obviously, if you do 6 days of training per week, you'll get through this whole program in 3 weeks' time. And then you'll have 3 sessions of deload, so half a week of deload. And then you can repeat the program if you wish. If you're doing 3 days a week, then this will be 6 weeks of training before a deload. Both of those are absolutely fine. Hopefully, in 3 weeks, or definitely in 6 weeks, you should be back into your gym as normal, but maybe not, so we'll see what happens. That's the program. All of these 3 days of training are full body training, and they are just shifted around a little bit between the days for a bit of variety. So on day 1 for the lower body, we've got quads and hamstrings. Day 2, hamstrings and glutes. And then day 3, quads and glutes. So they kind of rotate around between the different areas of the lower body. On all 3 days, you've got back and chest exercises, and then there's some delt, tricep, bicep work sprinkled in there as well. If you watch my other video, if not, watch it after this one, my IGTV about at-home training, in that I mentioned that pulling stuff and biceps can be difficult to do at home because everything else can be loaded with body weight pretty easily. So biceps is only in here once. If you have trouble doing biceps at home, then you can just drop that. If you have got dumbbells or some other makeshift weights or kettlebells and you want to do biceps more, then you can stick more in there as well. Feel free to add in any calf training and core training that you would like to do on this program as well, but equally you can run it as it is. From this template, I would recommend you go to the template tab at the bottom and click duplicate to create a fresh copy of this template, and then you can change it, run it for however many weeks as you want, and then if you deload and you want to do another one, or you mess up the spreadsheet in whatever way, you can go back to the template, duplicate another copy and go again. The way you need to set this up before you do your first workouts is choose exercises that you've got the equipment to do. You can do at home when you know how to do at home. Obviously, anything you don't know how to do, pretty much going to be guaranteed to find that on YouTube if you just stick it in the search there. So from day 1, first exercise is quads. Pick whatever you can do for quads here. So split squats, lunges, goblet squats, pistols, etc. Loads of options. Select what you can do for every single exercise down here, and then you can run that program. Anything you pick from these drop downs is pretty much going to work together. You cannot get it wrong. To help you, tabs along the bottom, I've made a couple of pre-made. So the dumbbell pre-made assumes you've got at least a dumbbell, adjustable dumbbell, or a few dumbbells, or a kettlebell would work. It's also got some chin-ups in there, so assuming you've got a pull-up bar that you can use. This program you can run as it is, or you can just change little things to make it work for you. Equally, there's a body weight pre-made, and this assumes you've got no equipment at all, In my IGTV, I talk about how to make a TRX replacement out of a bed sheet. So have a look at that if you're confused about how to do that. This program, again, you could run as it is for just body weight. Myself, so as an example, I've got a selectable dumbbell, so I'm pretty much going to run this dumbbell pre-made. I have got a dumbbell. I do not have a pull-up bar, so I'm going to change these chin-ups and just do dumbbell rows every single day. It's a great exercise. I don't have a Swiss ball either, so I'm probably just going to do single leg RDLs for hamstrings multiple times per cycle through this. There's a place for the date, so you can put the date in to record when you did your different sessions. Then each day has got number of sets per exercise, a reps in reserve goal, and then nothing else. So you'll notice I don't specify a rep range. This is because I don't know what you're using. I don't know what weights you've got, whether it's a dumbbell, kettlebell, makeshift weight, or just body weight. So the rep range that you can use is massive, anywhere between 5 and 50 reps per set, as long as you are getting to the RER, the reps in reserve. In this case, 2 reps away from failure on that exercise. So there's a space to put in the weight that you use. So for this one, if I'm doing split squats, I'm using a 24 kg dumbbell, which is as heavy as my dumbbell goes, and I might get something like that, 18 reps and then 16 reps on the next set. Might look something like that. Repeat for the whole day's exercises. And that's the gist of it. The only other thing you've got to fill in is a rating. So whenever there's a blue drop-down box, it is a rating. This is measuring how recovered you are from the previous session. So for dumbbell RDLs here, we're thinking about the hamstrings. How sore are you? How is your performance on that exercise? And then you give it a rating between 1 and -1. 1, well recovered. 0, normal. -1, not recovered. Another tab along the bottom, if you go to ratings guide, this is a little explanation of when you should be picking +1, -1, or 0. So have a read of that. Basically, if you are recovering well, it means you could have done more work, so the volume will progress. If I rate this a 1, you'll see I get an extra set of dumbbell RDLs the next week. If I rate the back exercise a 1, that means my back's recovering. I get an extra set of rows the next week. And you'll see how the volume progresses as you put in ratings for these days. So fill in all of these when you do the day's workouts. This cycle starts at a fairly low volume, 2 sets of everything, and it'll progress pretty quickly. When you put in the ratings, I'd expect to see mostly 1s at first because it does start at a fairly low volume, and it will progress as you go. If you're just doing 3 days per week, so each week you go through days 1, 2 and 3, then you'll be able to do more per day because you've got more time for recovery in between sessions. If you're going through this twice a week, doing 6 training sessions per week, then the volume that you can handle between the sessions might be lower. So that should work out and auto-regulate itself as you go along in the program. If and when you get to microcycle 6, this should be a fairly hard microcycle of training, and then you'll have a deload where everything drops down to 2 sets and you are 3 reps away from failure, 3 reps in reserve. I think that's all I need to tell you about this training. This should have set you up so you can do some effective at-home bodyweight or minimal equipment training. If you haven't already, click on this second link here on the instructions page, which take you to my IGTV, where I explain the rationale behind this at-home training and ways to load exercises and the exercises that you can do. Good luck with your training, everybody. I really hope this is helpful, and if anybody has any questions, send me a message on my Instagram and I'll get back to you and we'll come to some kind of solution. Speak to you soon.